it's not really my ghost story, but it's my mum's. So a few years ago, Mum got married, and she had a wedding reception at Brownsover Hall Hotel. I was about 18 at the time, roughly 18 at the time when she got married, and whilst we were staying there, we found out a bit of the brief history behind the hotel. It's a very lovely hotel. Apparently, it belonged to a aristocratic family in England up until the 19th century, I think, and then it got sold. So the history is there are like a couple of ghosts are hanging around the property. So in the bar, there's a ghost known as Naughty Edward. He apparently hangs in the bar. And I'm guessing the reason why he's called Naughty Edward is because I guess he obviously got drunk in life before he died. There's a study that I haven't seen. I've been in the bar, but not the study. Apparently, there's a handprint covered in blood, but I haven't seen that. So hopefully, when I go back to Brownsover to stay, I'll get a chance to see that and take a photo. Upstairs is quite interesting. Oh, in the stables, there's actually stables just like around the hotel where you can go and stay. Apparently according to the staff, if you listen closely at night, you can actually hear the sound of horses and a carriage. If you listen carefully, but there's no carriage or horses on the estate apparently. So the other couple of ghosts, there's the Green Fairy who hangs in the lake in the front where you go into to go in and clock in as a guest. Upstairs is quite interesting. I'm not really sure whether I did experience this or it was just a dream, but the night a couple of us got our own rooms while others went back home. I room, I think it was 5 or 4, sure, it was room 5 or 4, and I remember waking up in the night, and I thought and there was this guy standing at the end of my bed, and he kind of reached over, and then for some reason I leaned forward as if I was going to shake his hand, but I'm not sure whether that was I actually woke up and met this ghost, or I was just dreaming. I think I was dreaming. There's an attic on the upper floor, right, where apparently if you listen carefully, you can actually hear the sound of like heavy footsteps, even though no one's in the attic. When we stayed at Brownsover a second time, my mum told me that she and my stepdad were staying in the suite over from where I was, and it was like someone was trying to get into the room. The door was locked, but it was like someone was trying to get into their room, and when they opened the door, they immediately jumped up and opened the door, and when they did, there was no one there. And then after they closed the door, they heard footsteps going down the stairs, and they immediately opened the door again and checked the staircase, and there was no one there. And my mum's like, there's no way someone could have been that quick to get down the stairs. So that was a mystery. I said to Mum, that's probably the ghost from the attic, because apparently he also likes to come down to the upper floors of the rooms, but never downstairs. So I was like, maybe, yeah, because it happened twice, and they always kept the door locked, but every time it happened, they quickly unlocked it and opened the door, and there was just no one there. Also, there's a female ghost known as the Grey Lady. Now this is interesting. The day that Mum got married and we stayed at Brownsover to have the reception, my mum was on her way up the stairs, which is like through the hallway from the reception, and as she went up the stairs she passed this lady, but immediately as she turned round, the lady wasn't there. My mum was on the way to the toilets, which was up the stairs, and turned left, and I said to Mum, so you turned around and she wasn't there after passing her? And she was like, yeah. I went, that's the grey lady. It's been reported that's where she likes to hang around. So if you, apparently a lot of the guests thought she was another guest, but it wasn't until they turned around did they find she just she wasn't there. And I doubt she, like, you know, ran, you know, but she likes to hang on the staircase, and they call her the grey lady. And my theory is she probably died on the staircase. She probably died on the stairs, and that's why she tends to be seen there. But from what I can gather about the family history of Brownsover before it became a hotel, it is they were like apparently they've been around since this English Civil War, and apparently they did. There were times where the names changed, but eventually they combined the surnames into one. From what I can gather, is the family eventually sold the property. From what I know, the family sold the. It's a lovely old Gothic mansion, but it doesn't look like a mansion. It looks more like a hotel. To which that's what it was turned into. And it's been a hotel since the 1970s, and a lot of people have reported ghostly activity. It's kind of interesting because you wouldn't think to ask about ghost activity when you're staying at a hotel unless you experience it, but yeah, it's kind of interesting, so I thought I'd just share that. And this is in Rugby, Warwickshire. So yeah.